Saturday, Mexico City. We got rank number 6 versus rank number 15. What in the world is going on here? Let's go look at the numbers, let's go look at the tape, and let's see if we can figure it out. UFC Mexico City. In the main event, we got Brandon Moreno versus Lone Kavanagh. In the co-main event, we got Marlon Chito Vera versus David Martinez. So we're going to start with the main event, and we're going to start with Brandon Moreno. So Brandon Moreno started his pro career in 2011. He grew up primarily as a boxer. That's the only form of martial arts that he knew as a kid. He went 5-0 from the years of 2014 to 2016 for the WFF promotion and defended his belt 3 times. He has an Ultimate Fighter loss to Alexandre Pantoja in 2016, but the funny part about that is he was actually signed to the UFC while that season was still airing a couple months later. He's a 2-time UFC flyweight champion. He had a quadrilogy against, as we all know, Davison Figueiredo, and that was from the years of 2020 to 2023. He went 2-1-1 in that series, and 4 of his 5 fights in that time frame were against Figgy. He's 2-3 in his last 5. His last loss is a TKO loss to Tatsuro Taira. So let's get into what Moreno does well. On the feet, he lands 3.89 significant strikes per minute. Likes to use his left hand. He kicks well off of his punches. So you'll see him Saturday throw a 2-3 punch combination, and then he'll throw a high kick. 2-3 punch combination, then he'll throw a low kick. That's how he likes to strike combination wise. Outside of that, it's usually 1 or 2 punches. But when he's throwing combination, that's the combination he chooses to throw. Moreno, he grows into the fights. His strikes get stronger. He opens up more as the fights go on. Defensively speaking, he does absorb a lot. He absorbs 3.62 significant strikes a minute, and that's pretty close to as much as he lands. So he's there to be hit. He doesn't mind being in a dogfight. But the thing about it is, he has a really good check left hook. You know, he fights well defensively. He strikes well defensively, I should say. I like Moreno moving back striking much more than I like him moving forward. Moving forward, he gets a little too comfortable. He starts moving his hands around a lot. He's smiling. He has too much of a good time, in my opinion, whenever he's moving forward. Moving backwards, when he's in the defensive mode, he's seeing shots a lot better, and he's throwing shots a lot sharper. He throws counters a lot sharper than he throws strikes moving forward. The thing in his last 2 to 3 fights that I've noticed is he's dipping his head a lot. He's dipping his head and he's winging overhands. You know, Dan Henderson, Chuck Liddell style. He's winging these overhands, and I don't know what that's a testament to. I don't know if it's him getting a bit older and not wanting to get hit and kind of dipping that head to protect himself and swinging. But it's not a good technique. It's not a good technique, and it doesn't land that often. So he fights off his back foot. You'll find him fighting off his back foot for extended periods of time because he knows he has that cardio to go 5 rounds, and he's trying to get reads. But in these fights, he's been playing catch-up. You know, the Royval fight, he's playing catch-up. You know, Tyrace, he's getting taken down and getting finished. So I would just like to see him be a little more urgent in these fights. So overall, like I said, he's a good striker moving forward. He's a good striker moving backward, but moving forward is where I feel like he needs work, and he just needs to be a little bit more defensively responsible. So on to where I feel like he can have a little success in this matchup is the grappling. Moreno lands 1.47 takedowns per fight. He has a 64% takedown defense rate. Now, the thing is, he doesn't grapple offensively that much. Whenever he does, it's a body lock series. He likes to go for the body locks in triple leg, work you off balance. Those are usually the takedowns that he goes for. He's not diving for your legs or going for doubles or singles unless he's hurt. When he's hurt with strikes, he's very good at, he has a very good reactionary shot to keep himself safe. That's what I do like about Moreno. When he does get hurt, he knows how to survive. He knows how to survive when he's in trouble. He does have 3 submission wins in the UFC. And that's where I think he might be able to surprise some people in this matchup. I mean, we haven't seen a Moreno submission in a long time, so I feel like that's somewhere, just the grappling realm in general is somewhere where I feel like he could have success. Another thing about that is, I feel Moreno's a phenomenal grappler. I don't think he's a good wrestler. I don't think he's good at getting it there. He's good once it's there. He's not good at getting it there, if that makes sense. We all know Moreno's a proven 5-round fighter. It's well documented. He has 25-minute fights in the UFC. The thing is, the longer the fight goes, he doesn't slow down like we've talked about. He builds into it, but he gets more sloppy, gets more aggressive. He hits harder, but the technique starts to go out the window. That's not a fan of. That's something that's not a fan of. Don't love it. And he does just like this methodical striking pace. He likes to fight at a slower pace. That's just what Moreno likes. So if you push the pace on Moreno in any realm, he shows uncomfortability. He really does. Moreno likes it when he can kind of dance around in front of you and smile and move his hands all around. Those are the kind of fights Moreno likes when he's dictating that pace. He hasn't, Moreno's not the best nail. Really good at being the hammer. Moreno's not that great of a nail. So overall, I think Moreno is still Moreno. I don't think you can ever count Moreno out, especially in Mexico City. You can never count out his heart and his championship pedigree. But he's got a test in front of him here in Lone Kavanagh. So let's get into Kavanagh. He hasn't been a pro for that long, so I had to do a little bit of digging, and I actually went back to his amateur career so I could get more of a read on him. He started as an amateur in 2013. But listen to this. This is what I like about him. He started off his amateur career with a loss, a canceled fight, another loss, a no contest. Okay, so I'll say that again. He started off his career with a loss, a canceled fight, another loss, and then a no contest. All right, and that was 2013 was his debut. He didn't get his first win until 2017, after everything I just listed. So this kid's a grinder. He's not just a phenom who came in here and started knocking everyone out, and he just got his first loss in his last fight. No, I mean, this kid's he's been doing it for a long time. I mean, 2013, he's 13, 14 years old. So he made his pro debut in 2019. That was in Cage Warriors. And he won a Dana White, he was Dana White Contender Series contract winner in 2024. The thing I loved reading about this kid is he has a degree in sports science and he was a personal trainer. So he cares about his body and he cares about learning about the sport, right? He's not just out just some guy out here wanting to throw hands and wanting to bang and get in a scrap. No, he wants to learn and he's become a martial artist. So let's get into what he does with his hands. Now, full disclosure with Lone Kavanagh, all of these stats are a little skewed because he only has 4 fights in the UFC. So I did want to use these for context because I did watch his regional tape and he's fought consistently over the span of that time as well. So I don't think these numbers are too off, but I full disclosure, he only has 4 fights in the UFC. So please keep that in mind when I read these numbers off. 4.29 significant strikes landed per minute. He switches between a karate and a boxing stance very well, extremely well. He throws everything to take you out. Everything is 100% power. He has extremely damaging leg kicks. Watching his tape, knocking people off their feet. Numerous fights knocking people completely off their feet with leg kicks. And not always beat them down and now they have, that perineal nerve's gone numb and they're going down. No, it's nothing like that. It's first or second kick, he's just timing it right. And his timing is phenomenal. And when you watch someone's tape, right, you can't help when I've been watching fights since 2008. You can't help but make comparisons to fighters you've seen in the past. And watching him strike, specifically watching him kick, he reminds me of Lyoto Machida. And watching him throw his hands, he reminds me of Ilia Topuria. So he has a perfect blend of, 2 really good styles, and it's beautiful to watch. Now defensively, he does absorb 3.69 significant strikes a minute. So like Moreno, he's there to be hit. He doesn't mind being in a dogfight. And he does get irresponsible once he starts getting comfortable. He has a very blitzing style. Like I said, he's in or he's out. So when he's blitzing, those hands are coming down and that chin's coming up a little bit, and he's there to be countered because he likes hanging in the pocket a little bit too long for my liking. As I watched on the regional scene, he was dropped twice in 2 consecutive fights by Ryan Morgan and then again by Ander Sanchez. So he's there to be hit. I mean, he's there to be hit, and as we saw in his last fight, he was knocked out against Charles Johnson. So the guy, he's there to be hit. He's there to be dropped. So moving into his grappling, like I said, these numbers don't show too much, but he lands 1.79 takedowns a fight, and he has 88% takedown defense. He's a really, really strong kid. He's extremely physically strong. He's a really strong sprawler, a very good whizzer. He understands grappling very well. He knows exactly what to do. He's strong in the top position. He has a good front headlock game. I mean, if Moreno's not careful, he could catch himself in a variety of submissions, and he has a front headlock series. He flows from position to position very well. I mean, he's very light on top, light and heavy on top, if that makes sense. I mean, he flows like water on top of you. He's just meeting you in the next position in the grappling department. So the one thing I'm wondering about him is how he's going to do in Mexico City in a 5-round fight, because he's only been in 3-round fights. And he throws hard later into fights, and some of he's won some decisions, but that's not 5 rounds. That's not in Mexico City, and that's not against Brandon Moreno. So this weekend, that blitzing style, that throwing hard with every shot, all that's going to get tested this weekend. Let's talk about paths to victory on Saturday for both of these fighters. Let's start with Brandon Moreno. I feel he's got to drag Kavanagh to deep waters. Take this kid where he's never been before and where you've been plenty of times. 3rd, 4th, 5th round, finish it there. Or keep scoring off of his blitzes. You know he has that blitzing style. Time the blitzes. Check hook. Straight left. Circle off. Leg kick. Score. Touch and score and move. Let's move over to Kavanagh. Finish the fight in the first 3 rounds. You've only been in 3-round fights. Don't chance at playing Moreno's game. You know he's been into 4 and 5. Finish it before it gets there. Or do enough damage in those first 3 rounds to where it doesn't even matter what the last 2 rounds look like. Moreno's face is busted up. He's hobbling on one leg. Because that's the kind of damage that Kavanagh can do. Those are the 2 paths to victory, in my opinion. So, ultimately, I'm going Lone Kavanagh. I feel his youth, his preparation, his mindset, the fact that he's just a student of martial arts, and the fact that he started his career off, maybe not his pro career, but he started his amateur career off with just numerous losses and continued to fight through it. I feel you're going to see that same mindset come through here for him. Never been in a 5-round main event before. Sure, he's never fought in Mexico, but I feel he's going to be more than ready after taking 6 months off and preparing himself. He was already getting ready for a fight in the middle of March. So yeah, he's taking Moreno on short notice, but he was still training. Brandon Moreno has never fought anyone with the damaging power that Lone Kavanagh possesses. Lone Kavanagh, upset win over the former champion Brandon Moreno in Mexico City, Saturday evening. Got Marlon Chito Vera. Pro debut in 2012. He was a part of the Ultimate Fighter Latin America in 2014. He also made his UFC debut in 2014. Had a championship fight against Sean O'Malley in 2024. And as of late, he's 1-4 in his past 5. Vera lands 4.25 significant strikes per minute. And honestly, watching his past 4 or 5 fights, you wouldn't think that. I don't have that average pulled up, but I highly doubt he's averaging that over his past 4 fights. But the thing about Vera is, man, he's got a full tool set. That's how I like to describe his striking. He can throw everything. There's nothing he can't throw, and he can throw it all from both stances. He's a beautiful striker. When he's flowing, I mean he's fun to watch. He has a really strong left hand. He has a great left kick out of southpaw. He knows how to change the pace of his strikes. So he knows when to throw power. He knows when not to. He changes targets beautifully. So I mean, he's gonna beat you up from head to toe when you fight Chito. Don't like he's not gonna be predictable with what he's throwing. But the thing is, as of late, he's just been so low volume. He's been stuck in the mud his past few fights, and that's what everyone's complaining is about Chito. It's just so frustrating. Everyone who's fans of him and everyone who's backing him is just. I hate to say he stands there because I just got done watching his most recent fight, and he was throwing nice counters too. That's the thing. Zahabi, that's who he fought against. Zahabi. He was showing nice counter knees. He was throwing check hook count. I mean he was showing a lot. A lot of it wasn't landing, but he was showing it, and it looked sharp and it looked nice. It's just not consistent throughout the fight. He'll go through lulls a minute and a half where he's not throwing anything. And you can't fight like that at the highest level. So, I mean, defensively, he's absorbing 5.37 strikes a minute. I mean, that that is a crazy number to look at, but like I just talked about, he has a variety of counters from the defensive position. He backs in a straight line a lot of the times. Chito does not do a good job angling off. He does a good job cutting people off in the defensive striking realm. He does a good job at doing that and trapping people. But when people are coming at him, he's usually backing straight up, and he kind of shells like this, with his hands out like that. He doesn't consistently check leg kicks. He'll check them, but it's not often. He's never been finished. And that's something I want to see if that's going to keep up Saturday. He's never been finished, and I mean he's got historic durability. The guy's been in 40 fights. Never been finished. I mean that's you can't take that away from the guy. So on the ground, he's got a 72% takedown defense rate. Offensively, does not almost refuses to grapple offensively. 0 takedowns in his last 8 fights. What he will do though, what I do like that Chito does, is he'll catch a kick. He'll catch a kick and try to treetop you to get you off balance. I do like when he does that, but he's usually not doing it to get anyone to the ground. He's just trying to get you off balance and get you away from him. But I did see that, taping him the past few days, and it's really slick how he does that. But he has been taken down 5 times in his last 5 fights. And the thing is, we all know Chito, he'll hang out down there. He'll hang out on his back. He doesn't mind playing the jiu-jitsu game and fishing for submissions. And the thing is, he does have 4 wins by submission. That's the thing. So it's not, we haven't seen one in a while. Kind of like Moreno, right? We haven't seen it in a while, but it's still, he has that ability. And it's rare, but he does have super heavy ground and pound. Some of the last times we saw it was the Sean O'Malley fight, the first Sean O'Malley fight, but we saw what happened. I mean, when he's on top in an advantageous position, he can do some damage. He can really do some damage. And we also know that damage carries late. I mean, he can go 5 rounds. He's been in numerous 5-round fights. He fights at a very efficient pace. He doesn't load up on shots for the most part. He'll load up when he knows he's got you hurt or when he's got an opening, but he's not just winging shots, throwing overhands. He's a very, very intelligent striker, very intelligent with his fuel. I've watched a lot of interviews on Chito, and you can tell too, he does a lot of road work. He runs a lot, and he has extremely strong legs, and he's extremely balanced, and those legs carry him into fights, and that's why you don't see him ever slow down or his legs, no. Extremely strong legs from doing that road work. And he turns up late. His opponent's got to be careful on Saturday because Chito, he's not going to go anywhere. He'll be there in the 3rd round. He can drop the first 2 rounds, and guess what? He's going to be there in the 3rd round, and he's still going to be throwing hard. So as ultimately, we know Chito's been starting slow, but from watching the tape, I'll tell you something. This line's not right, and this fight's going to be much, much closer than people are thinking. All right, let's move on to David Martinez. Made his pro debut in 2016, and I believe that puts him was 17 years old when he made his pro debut, 17 or 18. He only had 4 fights in the first 5 years of his career. Not too sure if that was just traveling issues or what was going on there, but he's 5-0 in his last 5, as we know. He's on a 9-fight win streak total. His last fight was a decision win over Rob Font. So let's get into how he uses his hands. And once again, kind of similar to the last matchup, Martinez only has 3 fights in the UFC. So these numbers are a bit skewed. But once again, watched all the regional tape. Martinez is a very consistent fighter as well. So I feel these are good to use for context. He's extremely light on his feet, constant movement in and out. He likes to dart in with his hands, but he'll throw leg kicks from a distance. He kind of has a you go, I go kind of style, and I want to say he karate background. I'm pretty sure he's been doing karate since he was a kid. But I mean, his kicks are brutal. Very, very hard low kicks. Defensively, he only absorbs, for now, 2.95 significant strikes a minute. Like I said, that a lot of that's pretty skewed from only the 3 fights, and one of those fights ended in a minute and a half. So take that for what you will. He carries his hands low. It does work because he has such great movement. The further the fight goes, the lower his hands get, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But he sees punches well and he evades punches very well. You got 2 versions of Martinez from when I watched film. You got the version that angles off when he backs up, and then you have the version that backs straight up in a line. I know I sound repetitive with this, but when you're defending strikes, you cannot back up in a straight line. You have to angle off. Some fights he does it, some fights he does not. Later on in fights, he'll kind of sit down on punches a little more. When he starts to get a bit more tired, he'll sit down on punches, and if you watch the Rob Font fight, he's winging overhands as well, similar to Moreno. Both hands. He's planting his feet and swinging, overhand combinations. It's it's fun to watch, but it's not great technique. So grappling wise, for now, in three fights in the UFC, 100% takedown defense rate, and I don't really like what I see from him. I didn't like what I saw from him defensively. He's good in scrambles, like he understands how to grapple, but he gives his back up a lot. Numerous fights where he gave his back up. Numerous fights where he's given up control time along the fence. And just not urgent enough to get it back to his game for a karate style fighter. So that's somewhere where I feel he could be exploited in this matchup, because Chito is going to have the size. So that's going to be interesting to see them kind of on the scale. I'm really looking forward to seeing that on Friday. So let's get into his cardio. That circling style that he has, it's very, very lateral. I heard someone kind of compare it to Dominic Cruz. I wouldn't compare it to Dominic Cruz. I don't think it's as eccentric as Cruz's style, but it's constant. And it does, like I said, it slows as the fight goes, and that's when he starts to plant his feet and look for counters. He has good cardio. I mean, he doesn't slow down. It's just that movement slows down. He's still throwing punches. He still looks fresh, but he's just not as light on his feet. He has some 4th round finishes on the regional scene. I mean, he still has power late into fights, so I don't think there's any issue cardio-wise when it comes to David Martinez. One thing I did note here that I do want to throw out there, he was dropped with a head kick on the regional scene by Axel Osuna. Now, this was in 2022, but the reason I'm bringing this up was he was dropped by that head kick while he was trying to throw a leg kick. And it kind of reminded me, it was a right high kick, but it reminded me of when Chito landed that kick on Dominic Cruz. So let's get into paths of victories for both these fighters. Let's start with Chito. What does Chito have to do? I feel like what we've talked about in every single fight. 1, Chito's got to go. If Chito's on the front foot in this fight, if Chito's pressuring, if Chito's throwing shots, I feel like Chito has a very good chance to win this fight. Very, very good chance. Option 2, knock him out with a counter. Similar to the fight before, but instead of just scoring with counters, Chito's got the power to knock people out with a counter. So time that counter right and throw. Don't hesitate. Chito likes to pump fake, and the way I like to describe Chito's style sometimes is just it's a strike, it's a strikeout or a home run. You get all or nothing, boom or bust, and he's got to find it this weekend. He's got to find it. He's just got to go. Let's go over to Martinez. I feel like Martinez's path to victory is stay on the leg kicks. It may feel like it's not doing anything because Chito's so durable and he's going to keep on coming. Don't stop throwing the leg kick. Option 2, take Chito down. I feel Martinez is able to stay safe enough in the top position because all Chito's going to do is lay and try to play jiu-jitsu off his back, and more than likely not finish the fight via submission. Chito likes to throw strikes off he's too comfortable off his back, so I think you put him there, you can just burn clock. Ultimately, in the co-main event, my pick is David Martinez. Not a confident call, but I feel the speed, the leg kicks, and just the movement is going to give Chito too much trouble too early. And I feel he'll be able to stay away from the power. And by the time Martinez is slowed all the way down and Chito's really catching him with shots, it's going to be too little too late, just like it usually is for Chito. So I don't feel great about it. I wouldn't have Martinez in any slips this weekend. But my pick for the fight in the co-main event is David Martinez. All right, let's go through and do the quick picks. Starting off the card, we got Damian Pinas versus Wes Schultz. I'm taking Damian Pinas. We got Eric Silva versus Francis Fire Marshall. I'm taking Francis Marshall. Got Arnesta Karikate versus Regina Tarin. I'm going to go with Regina Tarin. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Javier Reyes. Going Javier Reyes. Chris Matino versus Christian Quinones. I'm going Christian Quinones. Aileen Perez versus Macy Chasson. Going Aileen Perez. Jose Medina versus Ryan Gandra. I'm taking Ryan Gandra. Angel Pacheco versus Santiano Luna. Taking Santiano Luna. Imanol Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. I'm going to take Imanol Rodriguez. Edgar Charez versus Felipe Bunas. I'm taking Edgar Charez. King Green versus Daniel Zellhuber. David Martinez versus Marlon Chito Vera. I'm taking Marlon Chito Vera. Lone Kavanagh versus Brandon Moreno. I'm taking Lone Kavanagh. And those are the quick picks. So to tack on to the quick picks, I'm also going to give you my 4 most confident picks. I'm going to be doing this every week. And I'm going to choose at least one fight on the main card. So it's not going to be all prelim fights. So 4 confident picks every single week. One of them, at least one fight of those 4 will be on the main card. So my 4 most confident picks this weekend are Francis Marshall over Eric Silva. Aileen Perez over Macy Chasson. Edgar Charez over Felipe Bunas. And Santiago Luna over Angel Pacheco. Those are my 4 most confident picks. My underdog lock of the week is King Green over Daniel Zellhuber. The speed, the hands-down style, the way he talks to his opponents, A combination of all those things are going to be too much for Daniel. It's going to frustrate him, and it's going to overwhelm him. He's going to fight just as one-dimensionally as in his last fight. His only opportunity for a win against King Green is a head kick KO. And that's not going to happen. King Green over Daniel Zellhuber for the underdog lock of the week. So that's my take on UFC Mexico City. We have two really exciting matchups in the co-main and main event. Got the young up-and-comers against the veterans. It's going to be really interesting to see who gets the nods in those matchups. Ultimately, I feel like it's time for the new generation. Just the way they absorb information, the way they prepare. It's just much different. Just much different than it was 20 years ago or so. So I love Moreno. I love Chito. And it's going to be really upsetting to see them lose on Saturday. So ultimately, in the featured bout, I have King Green. In the co-main event, I have David Martinez. In the main event, I have Kavanagh. Thanks for hanging out, and see you next time in round 3.